It is here and it will be worth the wait. The knockout stage in the West region of the AFC Champions League Elite as part of the finals at Jeddah 2026. A meeting between Ahli Saudi and Duhail of Qatar. The setting is the magnificent King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Jeddah, and this is the home stadium of the reigning champions in this great competition. They are the favourites. When you are the reigning champions, you're always expected to win. But that carries with it pressure, that carries with it the sense that the nerves could jangle, especially if the visiting team makes a positive start. The head-to-head tells us this could be a very tight match. They contested a really exciting 2-2 draw in the league stage back in September. They also drew 1-1 in 2 matches in April of 2021. Ahli won in 2012, Duhail won a matter of a couple of months before that. It's therefore their 6th meeting in the AFC Champions League Elite, 1 win each, 3 draws in a row. All of that could be a suggestion to add an extra 30 to 45 minutes to your plans today, because this one could well go all the way. Indeed, the head coach of the Royals, Matthias Jesler, said he expected that. He had no sense that this was going to be easy. Knew that the team would have to give absolutely everything to be fully focused from start to finish. Yes, Duhail, the Red Knights, are not finding things easy domestically at the moment. They're 7th in the table, but this is their 13th time in the AFC Champions League. They are very experienced in the flagship club competition of Asia. They will relish the opportunity to knock out the champions. All of this kick-starting the final stage of this competition, taking place in Jeddah, a historic city, a population of 3.75 million people. It's in Mecca province on the west coast of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the 2nd largest city in the country and one of the largest seaports in the world. But who will be, metaphorically, sailing on? Who will be flying the flag? And who will feel the wind in the sails as they go to the quarter-final stage of this competition? Some quite relaxed-looking spectators, some quite nervous-looking spectators. They're right to be nervous, the fans of Ahli, because this is going to be a very tough contest. We are absolutely delighted to have your company for a fixture that is not using the 2-legged format. This is all down to what happens over the next little while. Could, if necessary, go to extra time and a penalty competition. We will have a winner today. We will have a quarter finalist today. I'll leave you arguing amongst yourselves at home as to who it's going to be. One of the fascinating things about continental competition is sometimes it can allow teams to divorce themselves from domestic struggles. For Duhail, this might be a welcome opportunity to do something spectacular when their league form has been anything but. The problem is, how do you stop all of the goals in Ahli Saudi? How do you keep this team at bay? How do you stop a team that has a goal difference of plus 145 under head coach Matthias Jesler? It's an extraordinary record. Questions, questions, questions. Have they answers? For one team, it's going to be a case of here today, gone tomorrow. Someone is eliminated at this stage. They don't expect it to be them. They are, after all, the reigning champions, beating Kawasaki Frontale of Japan last year. It's the 7th time that Al Malaki, the Royals, have participated in Asian continental competition, including the Champions League Elite, its various predecessor competitions going back into the 1980s. Nearly 120 matches in this competition. And then it all came to fruition a year ago when they were victorious and they lifted the greatest trophy in Asia. The noise is picking up, the atmosphere is intensifying. The reigning champions are ready for victory, but are they ready for the challenge of Al Duhail, the Red Knights? Let's find the answer to that question. The King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Jeddah, the AFC Champions League Elite, the West Region round of 16, and the start of the Jeddah 2026 finals. An amazing stadium, the home stadium of Al Ahli, a capacity of well over 60,000 people. It's one of the 10 biggest football stadia in the world. And this is one of the biggest football competitions in the world. It's a fitting marriage. The AFC Champions League Elite, the finals, Jeddah 2026. This is the flagship club competition in Asia, and it is the knockout stage in the West region. The round of 16, it's taken a while to get here, but it will be worth the wait, and it must be settled today. There will be a winner. A single leg tie between Al Ahli Saudi, the reigning champions, and Qatar's Al Duhail. The setting is the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. It is the home ground of the champions in this competition last year. But this is going to be tough. It was 2-2 in the league stage. A very competitive game. Indeed, they've drawn the last 3 in this competition. History has taught us to expect a tight match. Let's see what the present and future brings. They know, all of these players, the strength of the opposition that they will be facing. Particularly those occupying a holding midfield role are going to need to be absolutely on point today, because this is a team that can just burst through, that can create so many chances, and when those chances are created, they've got a gentleman who'll finish them. 36 goals in all competitions this season for Ivan Toney. How do you deal with threat upon threat upon threat if you are Al Duhail? You probably do whatever you can to seize control of the match early on and not allow his team to take complete charge. Their domestic fortunes are very different. But sometimes continental competition is a wonderful leveller, especially when you throw in the jeopardy. The hugely respected Edouard Mendy keeps goal for the reigning champions, and he also captains the team. In defence, Loni Zakaria Al-Hossawi has played very usefully at full-back throughout the season. And what a midfield and attack it is for the Saudi club. Number 79, Frank Kessie, scored in last season's final. And in front of him will be number 17, Ivan Toney, who has 36 goals in all competitions this season. The captains, Edouard Mendy and Benjamin Bourigeaud, both born in France, united by a common language and divided by the outcome of this match, whatever it will be. Ma Ning of the People's Republic of China looks after this contest, university professor at the Nanjing Sports Institute. His colleague Fu Ming will superintend the video review process. The goalkeeper for Al Duhail is Salah Zakaria, who was part of the squad that won the AFC Asian Cup in his home country 2 years ago. In defence is another member of that squad, number 18, Sultan Al-Brak, a fullback who turned 30 last week. Captain is midfielder Benjamin Bourigeaud, number 19, who's been in great form lately. And if there is a player who's going to lead the Qatari team to victory, it's probably number 77, Adil Boubina, the exciting young Algerian who scored 7 in 8 in this season's AFC Champions League Elite. The jeopardy of a one-match round of 16 tie. No second opportunity, no chance to reset partway through a two-legged affair. It's now or never. And can you imagine how the reigning champions would feel watching everyone in Asia contesting the rest of this competition in their backyard, in their home stadium, while they have to sit and watch on their television screens. The very warmest of welcomes to you indeed, wherever you call home and whoever you're supporting in this meeting between Al Ahli Saudi and Al Duhail, as Saudi Arabia meets Qatar in the AFC Champions League Elite. It's the West region, the round of 16, and we have formally started the Jeddah 2026 finals. In the darker jerseys, the team from Qatar, as we look at Matthias Jaisler, who is the head coach of Al Ahli Saudi. Very well regarded young manager, not quite 40, and he has looked after a team that has scored over 2 goals a game in his time steering the ship. Great attacking club. That's good reading from Yusuf Sabali. And they'll need to be reading very alertly for those dangerous balls through to cut the midfield to pieces. Foul by the Al Duhail captain, Benjamin Bourigeaud. He has, by the way, been in splendid form of lately. Jamal Belmadi started his 3rd spell as the head coach of the club last summer. Led Al Duhail when they were under their previous name of Lechouia, before the merger with El Jaish, which amazingly was about 10 years ago now. How time flies. If you are newer to watching the AFC Champions League Elite, the league stage takes place between teams divided into the East and West regions. That stage has concluded. We are still within those regions up until the beginning of the quarter-final. So this is the round of 16. It is the West region, obviously, Ahli Saudi and Duhail of Qatar. And Ahli were second in the league stage. Duhail was 7th, hence why they're meeting. Sometimes that therefore presents us with the interesting ability to compare this match to one that's already taken place this season in the competition, as that needs to be dealt with, and it is, with Edmilson Junior looking to get involved. A 2-all draw in September in the league stage in Qatar. Great match. Here's Sultan Al Barak, and he's been put under some pressure. He will be a busy gentleman today, Sultan Al Barak. Turned 30 last week. He was born in Doha. Very important member of the cause today for Jamal Belmadi's team. He's been very pleased to welcome back a few players who have been injured of late. He said there are those on the bench who are not ready for a full 90 minutes yet, but they may play a part today. This is Ryan Hamed of Jeddah, one of a number of players in the squad, and a few of them starting who were born in this very city. City that is the gateway to Mecca, the holiest city in Islam, which is 40 miles to the east. And it's said that the name Jeddah may come from the Arabic Jada, or grandmother, because of a belief that the tomb of Eve is located here. Abdul Rahman. Won back nicely by Ibrahim Abamba. Keep an eye on this gentleman, Adil Boubina, number 77. Great young prospect from Algeria. He's played, and here he is, he's played so well for his club that he's put himself into the national team picture. Out to Roger Ibanez. And here he is again, the gentleman from the tourist resort of Canela in Rio Grande do Sul in the south of Brazil. Mahrez. It's no wonder that Al Ahli Saudi have scored so many goals when you actually look at the individuals they have in the team. The quality of delivery that they have and the quality of finishing that they've got in the form of Ivan Toney. Tony's just lurking around near Salah Zakaria, the Al Duhail goalkeeper. Frankesi. It's going to go behind. Comes off Youssouf Sabali, the Senegalese player. We're just starting to see now that gradual increase of pressure from Al Ahli Saudi. It will be the Brazilian Galeno to take the corner kick. Watch for Ibanez to come forward, and there is Ibanez. Just stabbed away, but a little tentatively by Sawai. Mathers. Now with number 2 Zakaria Al-Hossawi, who's on loan from Al Rayed. Joined Al Ahli Saudi in September and has played quite a lot for them. This is the young centre-back from Jeddah who spent his whole career at the club, Ryan Hamed. Heavy touch by Hamed, but he's okay. This is nicely done. Abdul Rahman, he does manage to cross, and it has to be dealt with by the backtracking Benjamin Bourigeaud. He did well, Mohamed Abdul Rahman, to get a cross in. Here's Ziad Al-Johani. Just a little overcomplicated. Prestigious occasion for the officials to be asked to participate in the final stage of the AFC Champions League Elite. And they've got to get it right. Easy decision. Salah Zakaria, the goalkeeper for Al Duhail today. He's been the first choice since the start of the year. Baptiste Bourque was the gentleman who was the clear first choice at the start of the season, but things have changed of late. Bourque is on the bench today. They've got a very tricky player, Al Duhail, in that gentleman, Edmilson Junior. And he has discovered form maybe at just the right time, the 31-year-old, with 3 goals in his last 4 in the league. So he and Adil Boulbina represent a real creative threat, and that represents a self-imposed threat from Salah Zakaria. Bourigeaud. If they can get him to provide as effectively as he did in that 4-0 win in the league over Al Sailia a month ago, we'll be thrilled today because he scored 1 and set up 3 goals. Here is Edmilson Junior, or not quite. If you are just joining the contest, not a great deal to report to you at this stage. And that is probably to be expected when history tells us that they're close matches between these two teams. Good burst forward from Mohamed Abdul Rahman, but now the space has been left. And here he is, Boulbina, the dangerous, albeit not on that occasion, creative force. A little unintentional touch from Manning. Not that a referee would ever have an intentional touch, of course. Very experienced, the 46-year-old who's in charge of this match. And works hard to pass on knowledge to the next generation in his academic duties at the Nanjing Sports Institute. That's a centre of excellence that has produced so many of China's great Olympians over the years. No foul against Yusuf Sabai. Forward from Tuta, another of the Brazilian players on the pitch. Oh, what a ball, out of nowhere, brilliantly done, and that's a fine save by Salah Zakaria. It's academic because the player's been pulled back, but he wasn't to know. Salah Zakaria had to get down low as Mahrez appeared out of nowhere. Fine goalkeeping from the 26-year-old, part of the Asian Cup winning team. The delayed competition held at the start of 2024. Riyad Mahrez, flutter of anticipation when he gets the ball there. You could hear the noise increase in the stands. Ball from Ryan Hamed and Yusuf Sabai. Again, not fully managing to clear it. Something of a needless foul from the frustrated Zakaria Al-Hossawi, who was born in another of the most famous of Saudi cities, in Medina. Goes forward from Tuta from São Paulo State. Al-Barak, sensibly done. Up front for Duhail is number 9, Krzysztof Piątek, Polish striker who joined at the start of the season from a club in Turkey. Had a very lively start with a lot of goals, somewhat heated off of late, but he remains dangerous. Good recovery of the ball from Bamba, but it's still going to be pressure put on by Ahli Saudi. Holding on to this nicely, and that is going to be a foul. It's the first one that was the issue, and Manning pulls the play back. a little shove needlessly by Bamba after the ball had gone. So it's not a particularly easy prospect this for Salah Zakaria. There's a lot that Al Ahli Saudi can do from this sort of position. We have a look at the Brazilian Galeno. Gets himself back up to his feet as Riyad Mahrez leads the discussions as to what to do with this set piece. Good opportunity for the reigning champions. And Mahrez is going to leave it, and the goalkeeper is alert to it. Not the most powerfully hit ball, but Salah Zakaria had to make a judgment. You always have to be alert when Ivan Toney is around. 36 goals in 40 matches, and that one is loose and stabbed away by the Brazilian Tuta. Pressure just gradually increasing from Al Ahli Saudi. Went right over the top of Piontek. It's got the look, Tuta, of a man who knows that threats can come from everywhere with an Al Ahli set piece. Trying to have as close to 360-degree perception as he can. Another good ball, another one that is just about blocked and then cleared with a slightly frenzied feel to it. Chase from Bulbina, but he couldn't get there, and that looks a nasty moment for Al Hossawi. Oh dear, he had a really awkward slip. Puts a lot of strain on that right knee as a result. Really good young fullback who's been an important part of the team since joining on loan. Some of you, I'm sure, will remember watching him in the AFC Under-23 Asian Cup. Looks as though there's going to be the necessity of a substitute warming up. Will there be the necessity of a change? Huge wall of supporters behind the goal, supporting a club that was founded in 1937. This the start of the finals of Jeddah 2026 in the AFC Champions League Elite. We look back at this chance for Ivan Toney. Not the first time that he's got down very quickly and blocked a low and challenging shot. And let's hope that Zakaria Al Hossawi is okay, having had that unfortunate slip as he took the ball beyond Adil Bulbina. Bamba out to the left, and a little space, rare space for Sultan Al Brak to work with, and couldn't quite find Bulbina. Oh, was that a foul? Well, Boubacar Soumaré went down. And he went down right around the edge of the area. Certainly does take a real impact to the ankle for Mohamed Abdul Rahman. So it is a yellow card. New signing, Boubacar Soumaré, joined in January from Leicester City. Club having a rather tough time of things at the moment, to put it very gently. Now, is Edouard Mendy going to have a tough time of things from this gentleman, Benjamin Bourigeaud? He has scored 3 times in the AFC Champions League Elites. Bourigeaud. What's he going to produce? Benjamin Bourigeaud, brilliant! Off the post! What a clever free kick! That was such a deceptive ball. Just for a moment, Edouard Mendy takes a sidestep towards the near post, probably thinking that was going to be the most likely outcome. Bourigeaud very nearly played him for a fool. And that's not easy to do with a goalkeeper of that experience. Well, that's the most exciting moment for the fans of Al Duhail. Mohamed Abdulrahman, number 29, the player who was given a yellow card for the foul on Boubacar Soumaré that led to it. That would have been very much a goal against the nature of the game. Here's Galeno. It's good coverage from Edmilson Junior coming back to support Sabay. Yes, it did look like there was a case to be answered. Feeling of Enzo Mio is it was a rather 50-50 sort of affair. Zakaria, who's played very well so far. Evidence of why he has become the preferred goalkeeper for Jamal Belmadi. Did make 22 appearances in the league last season. That was his best yet. Most of the time he spent at the club since joining in 2021, he's been in the low mid-teens for a number of appearances. The timing of the run was good, the ball was just a little overhit, and he's moving okay now, Zakaria Al-Hossawi, after that awkward little stumble. It's not easy to fill up with noise a stadium like the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium, but they've done it, as they always do, the fans of Ahli Saudi. Wasn't a use of the hand by Bourigeaud. The Ahli players certainly thought so, but Referee disagrees, and Mendy had to quickly backtrack. Urbina. And a chance for Piątek. A clever idea to find Sultan Al-Brak. Nearly got that completely right. And that would have been an unexpected moment. 45th continental appearance for Sultan Al-Brak, and he's never scored. He has scored a few times in domestic competition. The winner of this match will get a little recovery time, several days before meeting Johor Darul Tazim on Friday. A team from Malaysia has come through the East region, as Urbina has come to life suddenly in this match, and that could be very problematic for the Saudi team. And it's going to be hit by Burigo. He seemed to just sit there for an age, waiting to be struck, and it needed a brave block. Urbina's getting a little space down the left. And Al-Hussawi, who didn't fully get the ball away, made up for it with that lunging intervention. Burigo. Who's been assisting a great deal in the league. Can he bring it to this competition as that's... Oh, I was about to say that's easy for Mendy, but it wasn't. Well, seemed to be a routine moment for the veteran goalkeeper. Just cushioned the ball downwards, then had to pad it away from number 9, Krzysztof Piątek, who feels that he was fouled. Well, it's all rather unclear at the moment. It's all as expected, a very tough, tight contest, as the history books have taught us to anticipate when these sides meet. Goes all the way through to Salah Zakaria. With Ivan Toney down. Ivan Toney, who's scored in his last 5 matches in a row. But Ivan Toney, who has not found the Champions League elite to be the most profitable of competitions, with 1 goal in 6 appearances. That's in this particular campaign. Did manage to score several times as they won the trophy in the 2024-2025 season. But that's the outlier of all of the competitions that he's involved in. He's brought his manager great joy with so many goals this season. Should be an easy one for Sumare to get away. Bamba comes to assist and has been fouled. Judgment of the referee, not matching the judgment of Frank Kessie. Certainly needlessly got himself in the way. another loose header away from Roger Ibanez. Urigo. Ibanez misses it. Piatek almost has a clear sight of goal. Just a little louche perhaps defensively from Ahli Saudi. They seem to come under pressure that didn't need to be there. He always cuts a very impassioned figure out on the pitch, does Edmilson Junior. Whoever goes on to meet Johor Darul Tazim will know that they're meeting a really dangerous team. They beat Sanfrecce Hiroshima, a top Japanese team, by 3-2 on aggregate, because the East region matches did use a two-legged format. Things have been somewhat condensed because of the delay in being able to play the West region round of 16. So those East region ties all took place over 2 legs. All of the 4 West region round of 16 ties, single matches. Vissel Kobe beats FC Seoul. They will meet either Al Hilal or Al Sadd. And then on the other half of the draw, because that deals with the top half of the draw, including this match, we've got Majda Zelvia, the extraordinary shock form team of the last couple of J-League seasons. They beat Gangwon FC and will play either Al Ittihad or Al Wahda. And then, having beaten Melbourne City, Buriram United of Thailand will face either Tractor or Shabab Al Ahli in their quarter-final. So that's the lay of the land. Goodness only knows which of these two teams is going to be making their way to the last 8. Didn't quite manage to keep it in play. Sultan Al Barak. Mahrez quickly sees Tony. Completely missed by Ibrahim Abamba. Mio trying to get there. Riyad Mahrez, clever idea, but easily anticipated by Sabay, who came back from injury of over about a month ago. Piatek, Sumare, a little tug there perhaps from Mahrez. Nilsson Junior is capable of cutting inside and doing a lot of damage. Here he is, well saved by Mendy. That is exactly the sort of dangerous move that he has been producing for years. Likes to cut inside, he often shoots from those sorts of positions outside the area. That time the link-up nearly saw him beat the Al Ahli Saudi captain, but it was in truth quite easily covered by the 34-year-old. How many times Al Duhail fans have seen Edmilson Junior come in from the right wing and curl a ball on his left foot into the far corner. Not on that occasion. They haven't had a great deal of the ball, the Qatari team. Beljani. And the touch on, this could go very nicely. Abdul Rahman on the end of it. Well cultivated move by the Saudi team. Looked as though he was offside anyway. Roger Ibanez joined the club in 2023 from a spell of a few years at Roma. So he's got lots of experience in continental competition. Here was the chance from Edmilson Junior. It's a strange one, isn't it, when you consider the way he takes that ball? Was there an opportunity to actually play that with the other foot into the corner? All very easy to suggest with the hindsight of a replay. But in the immediacy of the moment, it's a split-second judgment. Wasn't the toughest judgment for the referee. It's probably been the sort of game he expected based on his pre-match interview. Matthias Jaisle took over Ahli Saudi when they were newly promoted back up to the top flight, having been relegated. It was a very bleak picture for one of the four original members of the Saudi Pro League. And how things have just transformed under his stewardship. Led them to third place in the first season. And then qualified them for the AFC Champions League Elite, and the rest, as they say, is history. The problem is that it is history, because now they are the reigning champions and everyone wants to knock them out. They've got to do it all again. Here's Mahrez, takes it down, tough angle, and it's just put over the top. Not the first time that Mahrez has just found a path around from the right wing. Goalkeeper completely beaten, and it comes off Edmilson Junior. Another corner kick, and they have looked on the verge of a really clear chance from their previous corner kicks without quite getting there. Is this going to be the one? It is going to be the one, but it was an easy save for Salah Zakaria. Urbina, he's been quietened down since that very positive 5 or so minutes where he was getting a lot of space on the left wing. We have only a few minutes to go until the interval. Ambitious, but a very good idea that. Edmilson Junior tries to play it quickly. Mendy also plays it quickly. Aurora as there's some space to come forwards. Out to Riyad Mahrez. What will he do? Riyad Mahrez, that's difficult and dangerous, but too high for Galeno. Enzo Mio, another of the players born in France. Galeno, prodded away by Bamba. Good effort made by Mahrez to keep it in, and that's going to be a foul by Tony on Zakaria. Tony will have been making the argument that the goalkeeper who went flying into him. Well, any suggestion, any hope for the home fans that his team were going to turn up and be overawed has been dispelled. They've defended with diligence. They haven't allowed an enormous number of chances for a very creative team. Hugely easy to generate sufficient power and angle from that sort of position, even for somebody who's been scoring as many as Ivan Toney has. Treatment over. Salah Zakaria, who's played very well in this first half, will restart the game. Duhail have been all the way to the last four of this competition. It was back in 2022. Bulbina trying to engineer some space. It's proving difficult. It's proving impossible at the moment. Yet to be really unleashed in this match, and that's a credit to Mohamed Abdul Rahman, who had a little support from Riyad Mahrez. Roger Ibanez tried to go long. That required alertness. Having been alert, Sabai now looks to create. Yes, it is a foul. Clearly, Christophe Piatek was brought down. No doubt about the arm around the midsection. 3 additional minutes in progress. Like so many very high-stakes knockout stage matches, particularly at the beginning of a knockout stage, this is not going to be featuring high up on the list of your greatest first halves of all time. That's understandable because these are two well-matched teams and they don't want to throw it away early on. Burigo, clever ball. It needed really to be attacked with more gusto. And just remind you that we do have to have a clear outcome today. It will be extra time, it will be a penalty competition if necessary. Loose to Bamba, loose from Bamba, back to square one. And it's been really that sort of first half. A few quite good opportunities, particularly the free kick from Burigo. Mostly Ahli Saudi have looked to be the better team, but they've largely neutralised each other. Despite the overwhelming possession of the ball from the Saudi team. And it may well be that the last significant opportunity expired. Or will it be now? Yeah, Mahrez. Essi does well, had an option out to the left wing and uses it. imagine if they don't get this ball in quickly, then Manning is going to blow the whistle. And that is what he's done. It is totally unclear at the moment, and that has set us up for an intriguing second half. A few little opportunities here and there for Ahli Saudi, for Ivan Toney, and one very good free kick from Benjamin Bourigeaud that had Edouard Mendy beaten, and the post intervened. Lots still to be settled then at the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Jeddah, for at half-time in this round of 16 contest in the AFC Champions League Elite West region, it's Ahli Saudi 0, Al Duhail 0.
Direct red card. Mistaken identity. When the referee cautions or sends off the wrong card with the offending team. Stationed in video operation.
The setting is the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And the second half is about to begin. No goals in the opening 45 minutes in this meeting between Ahli Saudi and Duhail. A sense that something needs to change, but what will it be? If it continues thus, we'll go all the way through extra time and penalties. Let us see if there are more clear chances in the second stage of this match. There were a few moments here and there in the first half. What next? Welcome one and all. It is the second half in this first West Region round of 16 match in the knockout stage of the AFC Champions League Elite. We have begun the finals Jeddah 2026 phase of the competition. It beginning a little earlier than is often the case due to the round of 16 matches also being played as part of this phase of the competition. We had a delay waiting for the West Region round of 16 matches to be able to take place. The East Region concluded their round of 16 ties a while ago. And we will very quickly know who's going to be in the hunt for the overall trophy. Might it be this team once again, the champions from last season? Or can the team in possession in the darker jerseys knock out before the quarter-final stage the winners of the last edition? And you just imagine how it might feel for Ahli Saudi to be in Jeddah but not part of what's really happening in Jeddah, to be in their home city while everyone else still has a chance of lifting the trophy. If they are knocked out at this stage, it will be a very difficult next couple of weeks for them. Nilsson Jr. hasn't managed to really be hugely involved, though he did have that half-decent chance that was put really straight at Edouard Mendy. And it's going to be an Ahli Saudi ball. Clearly the hugely experienced Algerian Riyad Mahrez was fouled. Fast forward to Friday, one of these two teams meets Johor Darul Tazim of Malaysia. The quarter-final stage is where the East and the West meet after being divided earlier on in the competition. And an opportunity here for the Saudi team with Enzo Mio going down. Did manage a pretty decent chance from Ivan Toney, but that gentleman tipped round the post in the first half from a very comparable position. Galeno, the Brazilian who tends to take the corner kicks. He wears number 13. In discussions with Mahrez and Toney. Is anyone other than Tony going to get the chance? Let's find out. Mahrez walks away. Tony and Galeno. Tony to Galeno, and that was really not worth waiting for. Had a very dramatic setup though, didn't it? The boos just echo around the building whenever Al Duhail are in possession, but they will have no issue with that. They're used to it. They will have expected it. And we're now entering the phase of the match where calmness is going to be absolutely crucial. There's a definite sense of the intensity increasing since the beginning of the second half. And there's continued early pressure from Ahli Saudi, for whom most of their best chances have come from set pieces, and that could be another one now. Just touched away by Tuta. Took a while to get an optimal shooting angle, and the Brazilian centre-back Tuta was in the right place to put it away. Play pulled back and a yellow card coming. Polish forward Krzysztof Piątek just going in late on Al-Hossawi. Al-Hossawi has not exactly been short on painful moments in this match. He had a very nasty stumble in the first half. Looked as though he'd hurt his knee, but he seems to have moved on from it. There certainly is a more anxious feel, a more pressurised feel to the start of the second half. Part of that is probably emanating from the Al-Ahli fans themselves, who didn't have a hugely easy and enjoyable first half. And now their sense of aggravation, it grows. They're not used to matches where they don't score a sizable number of goals. Throw of his arms to the side from Matthias Jaisler, who felt that Al Duhail were trying to waste time. And again, maybe it is in their best interest to do that and to increase the almost self-inflicted pressure on the home team. They're a much newer team, Al Duhail, by comparison to Al-Ahli Saudi, who, as I mentioned earlier, were founded in the 1930s. Al Duhail were founded as Lehouia in 2009 and merged with El Jaish in 2017 to make a team that's named after the Duhail district of Doha. Duhail actually comes from the Arabic word for cavern, because there was a very large one in the region going back some time. And it will be a complete and utter cavern in this building if Al Duhail can score. It will be the echo of stunned silence. They nearly did it in the first half. Al-Juhani forced to go back to Edouard Mendy. Winner of both the AFC Champions League Elite and the UEFA Champions League. Very few players ever manage to win one of those competitions, let alone the pair of them. Hossawi pushing down to Galeno. Galeno just ran straight into Ibrahim Bamba. Mio. And he's clearly brought Bamba down. Well, that was totally unnecessary. Has to be a yellow card. Perhaps that moment of frustration. I mean, there's an argument that doubtless Ahli Saudi will make that Ibrahim Bamba rather accentuated the discomfort that he was in. But Mio, who's still contesting that there was an elbow, rather brought his arm up. And I refer you to my aforementioned comment about the need for calmness, particularly at this stage of the match. And perhaps the need for changes. Every rather laboured move from Duhail to restart the game further irritates the Al Ahli fans, further frustrates Mr. Yaisla on the sidelines. He's just not looked quite at his best in this match, Ivan Toney, having scored 27 in 27 in the league, along with setting up a further half-dozen goals. But just the one goal in this competition this season. Ed Nielsen Jr. had gone ahead of the line. Ahmed. I can only imagine how special an occasion this is for Ryan Hamed. From Jeddah, playing for his hometown club, having won the AFC Champions League Elite last season. Now kicking off another exciting finals in Jeddah. To channel that sort of nervous anticipation, that pride, that excitement into positivity when it can so easily overwhelm young athletes. He's shown that he's able to produce very high-level performances. He's had a good season, really something of a breakthrough season. There he is. Charles Castelletto, Cameroonian. Good pressure put on the 30-year-old. And we are approaching the 1 hour mark of this match with still no clarity. Who is going to step forward? Who is going to take control? Will it be that the almost game-changing impact potential of Ahli Saudi is good enough to get them through this tight contest? Because they've got players who can do magnificent things very quickly. This is going to be one now. It's cleared by Sabai, who was well positioned, and then hit! Oh, hit by Jorge Ibanez. They've had a right old thump. High and half away by Yusuf Sabai. He has scored a decent number of goals. That would have been unstoppable if it had been a bit lower. (13 goals in just over 100 appearances for the club. Had 5 in the league last season. He's only managed 1 this campaign. So although it would have been a surprising moment in terms of the nature of the goal, it wouldn't have been a huge surprise to see him score, because he's demonstrated he's, even as a defender, a great threat. Into the last 30 minutes, with a further 30 beckoning. Again, Sabai, once again not fully cleared. Mio. A chance for a shot, and a very good save from Salah Zakaria. Again, strong goalkeeping. He's been probably the most effective player for Duhail. Moved quickly, made his decision. And it was a very technically proficient piece of goalkeeping. Galeno. They do seem to be getting closer. Al-Hossawi, Zakaria goes for the safe decision to punch. Might not be safe because the attack is still alive. Castelletto just has to get it away. Mahrez again threatening to beat Salah Zakaria, and again Zakaria denying him. But this feels like a big phase of the match for both of these teams. It's fairly constant pressure from Ahli Saudi. Kessie. Wilbina having to focus on defensive duties, and he does the job nicely. Well, they're still enjoying themselves, but a few of them look more worried than they did earlier. Sports fans will tell you, whatever the sport, winning is an addictive thing. You see your team lift the AFC Champions League Elite Trophy, you want it to happen every single chance you get. Burigo, well saved. Powerful, tested Mendy. It's the second time that Burigo has made life difficult. Rather straight at the goalkeeper, but it required him to make a very firm decision. because there was considerable power on the ball. Well, it was after a spell of Ahli pressure in the first half that Duhail nearly managed to find a counter-attacking goal, not necessarily counter-attacking, but against the run-of-play goal from Burigo. They almost did it again. Burigo's free kick. Sabay. Piontek was beaten in the air. By this stage in a typical AFC Champions League elite match, you would have seen changes happen, but the managers have got to be cognizant of the possibility of this going right the way through to extra time and penalties. Famous last words, but it does feel like we're in a phase of the match where a goal is more likely than at any other time. Mahrez. The ball will test Sabay, who was very alert, but not fully alert. There's Galeno. It's been saved, and I wonder if he used his arm. Shake of the head from Galeno, who managed to get into a shooting position. But let's have a look as to whether his left arm was used to bring that ball under control. Once again, Zakaria just had to do his job and be unconcerned by anything that might follow. As was the case with that Mahrez chance. Here's Galeno again! They are getting closer. Trepidation grows, the jeopardy increases. In possession, the champions, Ahli Saudi, so experienced in AFC continental competition, in all of the incarnations of the AFC Champions League and its predecessor competitions. It became the AFC Champions League elite not so long ago, but their history goes back many, many years. And they wanted to keep going on for at least one more match. Roger Ibanez. The idea was a sensible one, to go right through the middle to Mio. Mio, an Olympic silver medalist from his home games in Paris. Mane, who was born in Paris. Nilsson Jr. wanted that to go out to him on the right wing. Well, Krzysztof Piontek has come to ground with his arm across his face. Let's see if we can tell why. Maybe gets a little flick of a finger up into the eye, and it may look as though it was nothing, but if that did connect with his eye, then that is obviously going to be concerning and painful. Really is now a growing wall of frustrated noise whenever Al Duhail have possession. He was inviting Burigo to bite. Burigo accepted the invitation. Just to hold on to it. Nobody's got anything resembling a really firm grip on this match. Ceballos had to cut out a lot of balls, many with his head, and he's done his job nicely. Forward from Ziad Al-Jahani. Will changes come quickly, and will they alter the course of the match? There's a little conversation to be had between Castelletto and Tony. I say conversation, really just to stand there and listen to what Manning has to tell you. So it's time to start asking ourselves the question as to who is going to be the match winner in a game that looks increasingly likely to be decided by a very fine margin. Maybe just a solitary goal, maybe not even that, maybe penalties. Zakaria been one of the most high-impact performers so far, probably the most high-impact. They do have Al Ahli Saudi in reserve, players like Firas Al Buraikan. They've got players like Saleh Abu Al Shamat. They've got the interesting young Brazilian Ricardo Matias, and they've got a yellow card issued to the opposition. could be actually a moment of some significance because of how important Ibrahim Abamba has been to cutting balls out and to imposing himself just ahead of the defence. He's now got to be a little careful, very careful for the remainder. Marcel Kobe, Johor Darul Tazim, Majda Zelvia, Buriram United, the East Region teams waiting for the West Region winners in the quarter-final stage. All of it taking place in Jeddah. Jeddah, the home, as things stand, of the AFC Champions League elite in more ways than one, because the reigning champions, this very team, call this very city home. Riyad Mahrez, that should be dealt with. Instead, it actually was a touch from Ziad Al-Johani, who did score against Al Shorta in December. His only continental goal. This is his 19th appearance in AFC club competition. Again, the disapproval from the Al Ahli Saudi fans. All of that would suggest that they're probably doing things the right way from their perspective. Al Duhail, frustrating, irritating, not conceding. Can they find the crucial goal? Because this is not a two-legged tie as has often been the case in the round of 16. Oh, that was a risky ball. Very risky. Well, after so much discipline actually from Al Duhail defensively, they did create jeopardy for themselves there. Galeno caught. Actually for Al Duhail, not as dreadful an outcome as it could have been. Everywhere you look in the Al Ahli team, players who know how to create chances, players who know how to finish chances. But so far, chances not really made and taken. Only a few. It heated out before it had started. Ahead of Boubacar Soumaré. Important signing for the club, bringing a sense of control to the midfield. Sabay. Oh, that's coolly and effectively done. Edmilson Jr. wanted it. Instead, that's played effectively. Oh dear, to Piatek, who couldn't do anything with it. Well, it was a high-quality ball when the simpler one out to the right wing seemed to be more likely. Piatek didn't make the most of that, as his frustrated expression showed. Not easy, though, is it, for a striker when you've barely seen anything of the ball to do something when it comes your way? Urigo has a quick decision to make and was maybe pressurised. Al-Hossawi, he goes down, no foul. And once again, it's Sabay. Gosh, the pace has increased very quickly. Suddenly, there's all this empty space. Edmilson Jr. Who will hit it? It was, well, it's going to be an opportunity here, very unexpectedly. Not the strongest of connections from Bulbina. But Piatek, once again, finding himself with a chance to beat the experienced goalkeeper. Ahmed was there to divert it behind. It could have been a far worse outcome. Easily the best stage of the match from the perspective of Al Duhail. And it might be at just the right time. Benjamin Bourigeaud. Can he produce a really high quality delivery for the likes of Piatek, for Castelletto perhaps? Mendy is there. Castelletto was going for that. It's good strong work in the air to cut out the chance. 10 minutes and counting. Still, it is absolutely seesawing back and forth. But this definitely the most imposing that we've seen Al Duhail. And maybe it's at a time like this that actually there's the greatest chance that they might just take their eye off things defensively when they seem to be quite clearly pushing for a win. It goes to Edmilson Junior. He'll want to do something with this, ideally by cutting inside, but wasn't given the chance. But here's Bourigeaud. Oh, that was rather risky, giving possession straight back to Edmilson Junior. And his cross evades Bulbina. Was touched by Abdulrahman. Suddenly got a stronger presence in the match, Edmilson Junior. It's going to be a long and tough couple of weeks for whoever lifts this trophy. And that's another awkward moment for Al Hossawi. Again, going to ground with nobody around him, just as he did in the first half. We are going to see substitutions. Yes, there is the increased sense of nervousness that I was referencing. Nice sporting moment between Al Hossawi and Edmilson Junior. Will it be an impact substitution that turns out to be a tactical masterstroke by one of these managers? Matthias Jaisler, Jamal Belmadi. Nobody, with perhaps the exception of the Brazil 1970 World Cup winning team, wins a trophy by looking glamorous and exciting every single minute of a competition. There has to be a moment where you grind your way through a very difficult match, where you pick up the sort of win that trophy-winning teams are able to pick up. be stylish, it has to be effective. This is a long, difficult competition. This is one of those long, difficult games. There is no foul. There's space for Edmilson Junior to play it to Bulbina. Bulbina is on his own. Is this his moment to shine? If there is a player who you know will be comfortable going for something virtuoso-like, it's him. Ali Majrashi is waiting in the wings. Part of the team that won the trophy last season. He's been at the club since 2022. No surprise as to who he's replacing. He'll slot into the full-back role. Mohamed Abdul Rahman goes off, and we see Ali Majrashi on. Hasn't played in the last couple of league games, but he was involved in both national team friendlies in March. Minutes plus whatever else is added on. Not even that. Time is ticking away. Is there a match winner in these last moments of normal time? Or do we go for a further 30 minutes? Very lively spell of the match over the last 10-15 minutes. Actually increasing the attacking play as we get closer to the moment of no return. Now things have maybe just quietened a fraction. Roger Ibanez. How things have been for much of the match, with a lot of possession for Al Ahli Saudi. Is this going to be the chance? It's going to test the goalkeeper off the bar incredibly. Goodness, that was the most panic-looking shuffle backwards from Salah Zakaria that you can imagine, and there'll be a huge roar for this corner kick. What an awful moment for Salah Zakaria as that ball was deflected. He did an extraordinary job. Enzo Mio may have touched that. He certainly was reacting as though he did touch it. You can only imagine what that felt like for Salah Zakaria. You could see the change in his body language as he was issuing instructions and then realised that was going to loop up over the top. They both struck the frame of the goal. Delay before this corner kick is taken. Ibrahim Abamba is receiving treatment. We'll find out soon how many additional minutes there are going to be. is an interesting change, a very interesting change. Replacing Ibrahim Bamba is Ahli, a gentleman who was born in Khartoum in Sudan but moved to Qatar as a child. Record-breaking goal scorer for the national team. Scored a couple of times as they won the Asian Cup, but now it's defensive prioritising for Al Duhail. Bulbina, can he use this ball? Here's the substitute. Almost worked its way over the top through to Ahli. He, by the way, has just come on to make his 50th appearance in AFC continental competition. Five further minutes to be played. Goes forward. It goes away for the time being, but here is Al-Burak. There is half a chance, my goodness, what a shot! That was unsavable from Adil Bulbina. Isn't he an extraordinary player? There's no way that Mendy would have stopped that if it had been just a little lower. Was that almost the magical moment? Sumare goes forwards. Both teams hitting the bar in the closing moments of normal time. Will keep it in play. Needs some options. He's got Edmilson Junior now arriving. Last few minutes. Is this going to be a quality ball? It is going to be a quality ball, and it was really well defended by Ryan Hamed. What an excellent piece of play from the young Jeddah-born centre-back. That might not be the most glamorous moment of the match, but he could well have kept the champions in the competition. To touch that ball, and he did. Ibanez to Al-Hossawi. Is there one clear chance remaining? Not like that, there isn't. It looks as though we are going to continue for 30 additional minutes. Not been for the frame of the goal, this match will be coming to an end. Both teams going so close. Piątek could find no way through. 1 minute. Sawi. Yes, that is going to be a foul, and it's going to be a final opportunity, one imagines, for Ahli Saudi to get the ball forwards before the whistle is blown. And it really is likely to be a do it now or don't do it kind of an occasion. Touched away, and it's Bulbina, and it is the close of play with 30 more minutes beckoning in this tense occasion at the King Abdullah Sport City Stadium. Both teams very close to winning that match before 90 minutes were up. Zakaria seeing the ball come back off the crossbar. Edouard Mendy just watching as Adil Bulbina's shot was so close to being one of the goals of the competition. But no goals so far, and more football to be played. In this grueling 2 weeks in the Jeddah-based finals, they're going to have to carry on, and they're going to have to really show their fitness and their mental agility to get through this tricky encounter. It is Ahli Saudi 0, Al Duhail 0. On we go. extra time is on its way at the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. Ahli Saudi 0, Duhail 0. How different it might have been. Some really good opportunities, particularly that chance right at the end for Adil Bulbina. Not that it seemed like a good opportunity, it seemed as though it was speculative at best, but nearly flew in. And then Enzo Mio, just a matter of moments before that, had nearly beaten Salah Zakaria. A very different sort of encounter for Al Ahly compared to this time last season when they met Al Rayyan of Qatar in the round of 16, beat them 3-1 and 2-0. And then they went on to face Buildup United in the quarter-final stage, 3-0 win there. Now, Mateus Gonçalves is going to come on to replace Enzo Mio, and that's a dangerous, creative and fresh player that they can utilise. And so begins the first period of extra time. Al Ahli Saudi 0, Al Duhail 0. The match really actually started to become its most vibrant and attacking as we got closer to full time. One wonders if it will continue in that way. Sometimes the break in play actually just serves to calm things down a bit. But it's a clean slate now for both of these teams as we start an additional period of play. We have on the pitch Mateus Gonçalves, the young Brazilian, who's already scored a couple of times in this competition. He's also played in the Libertadores and the Sudamericana in his home continent. Enzo Mio, who was so close to giving Al Ahli Saudi the win, has gone off. Soumare, what a clever idea to play that ball through, looking for the substitute Almoez Ali, the club captain. Has taken the armband from Benjamin Bourigeaud. Only recently started to reappear in the league. Scored on the 4th of April against Al Harafa. Hadn't featured since the game against Al Saad in September. They've still got plenty of changes available to them, both of the managers, and although well, we'll come back to that because here is Mateus Gonçalves. He's fresh, he'll want to be lively, he'll want to make an impact. Well, this is very pleasant if you are Johor Darul Tazim. Every extra minute that your opponents in the quarter-final stage have to play will benefit you. And especially with an Ahli Saudi team where the head coach Matthias Jaisler has said that the squad is strong on the bench but has got players who are coming back from injury and he wouldn't necessarily want to use hugely. Mateus Gonçalves tries to float that, cleverly done, brilliantly done, and it's wide. One Brazilian to another. Galeno couldn't find the gap, but what an impact that was from Mateus Gonçalves. Just floated that delicately over a player who's missed virtually nothing in this match, Yusuf Sabai. Goodness, it was close. He hits it, and it goes harmlessly over to the immense frustration of Galeno, who probably saw two moments of glory for himself, neither of which have transpired. The next time Galeno scores, it will be his 25th goal in a combination of UEFA and AFC continental competition. Of those goals have come in the UEFA Champions League. Foul by Tony. Still just that one goal in the Champions League this season. And really, beyond the free kick that he took in the first half, not a great deal of chances to report for the English striker. Kessie back to his regular duties. Yusuf Sabai cutting it out, trying to dance his way through, and he was definitely clipped, was Almoez Ali. Gave the referee really no option but to administer a yellow card. Ziad Al-Johani. He's another of the players from Jeddah, whose whole career has been spent at this club. Was a very important part, played a lot of matches in their campaign to lift the trophy last season. Really, the single best pass of the match has been provided by the young Brazilian substitute, Mateus Gonçalves. That was certainly not one of the best passes of the match. Here's Saburigo, plays it out to the right. Nelson Junior has to go back. Needs a good moment of control. Burigo, well, he asked the question at least, but it was mopped up by Roger Ibanez. Edmilson Junior, and he was just caught by Zakaria Al-Hossawi. Maybe a little experience showing there from Edmilson Junior. Options limited, but he did a lot with what he had. once again they'll hope for a real quality of delivery from the man born in Calais, right up on the North French coast. Somebody who's played around 500 times for all of his various clubs in many competitions. Ahli, it was a good ball, but it was touched away from the captain, Ahli. Ahli putting his hands on his head, he thought that was going right towards him, and indeed it was. Sultan Al-Burak. Throw is flicked on by Krzysztof Piątek. It's a match that's been full of so many what-if moments. That ball, for example, that was played through to Piątek that he couldn't finish, couldn't even get a clear touch on it. Urigo's free kick hitting the post, Urbina hitting the post, Mio hitting the post, a couple of good chances for Mahrez. It's a 0-0 game, but there certainly are a number of occasions where you can go through and pinpoint this is where it might have been won. Galeno being the most recent example. But things are still completely unclear. It's no surprise that we've got such a tight and tense first match in the West region, round of 16 as the knockout stage begins. Urbina, Ahli, Urigo. Going to ask a bit of a question to Edmilson Junior. Well, he is very much aggrieved, Edmilson Junior. Not an uncommon sight. Thinks he was fouled. It turns out on this occasion he's the only one that thinks it. They have had moments where they've threatened from free kicks and from corner kicks, and it was Roger Ibanez shuffling away. And some way away, actually. Certainly the clearest and most imposing chance they've created directly from a corner kick, Ahli Saudi. Urbina just been allowed to sneak in and almost steal that. Bit of relief for the defence of the Saudi Arabian team. Sturdily won by Al-Burak. Might have hurt himself in the process. There's a really clear thumping sound of a collision. And the player that he collided with, Mateus Gonçalves, has been very quiet since that almost brilliant involvement just after coming on. Well, it was a brilliant contribution from him. The ball was fantastic. On we go, getting close to the halfway stage of extra time. Mahrez, that was plucked away from him. A big celebration from Adil Bulbina as well as he did that. He's just recently become part of the Algerian national team, Bulbina. Taking the ball away from somebody who's played over 100 times for his country. On the subject of people who played over 100 times for their country, shown a yellow card. Ahli, captain of Duhail, scorer of a record number of goals for his national team. The players are feeling it now. He's been busy enough for most of the match, Salah Zakaria. Came back into first choice goalkeeping contention at the start of the year, having been watching on as Baptiste Burke played for the early part of the season. In contrast, Edouard Mendy has been clearing away the first choice goalkeeper. There'll be a little time, one imagines, to add on. It's taken a while to get the game resumed. Resumed as we are close to the second period of extra time. Mahrez calling for the ball to be returned to him, and he'll take this in swinging corner kick. So easy in a match like this to just switch off momentarily in a way that cost you your entire Champions League hopes. They've proven repeatedly in this match that they are threatening from corner kicks. And the most recent one was the most threatening. What about this one? Goalkeeper's not there. It's up in the air. Was that a hand? It's going to be, no, cleared off the line by Jean-Charles Castelletto. It'll come back in. There's a player down. They are adamant that this should be a penalty kick. Ahli Saudi. Wild celebrations centred around Jean-Charles Castelletto, who blocked that on the line. Ziad Al-Jahani is on the ground. There'll be a little to unpack here. For the first time, Salah Zakaria just flung himself at the ball without really looking in control. But let's watch what happens after that. There were claims for both a handball and also for a foul. Certainly comes off the face of Tuta. Then Ziad Al-Jahani goes down to ground. Castelletto blocked it. There is going to be a possible penalty that is under review. Fu Ming of the People's Republic of China will be in discussions with Ma Ning, his fellow countryman. This is the first instance where we've had a video review indicated. Two additional minutes in progress. And a very nervous wait for both of these spectators. Both sets of fans seeing the referee now move over to the monitor. And it's actually possibly the goalkeeper who's subject to scrutiny here as well. There's two players that seem to collide with a fist on Ziad Al-Juhani. This could be very worrying for Al-Duhail. Goalkeeper has a wild swing, as does Tuta. Ziad Al-Juhani goes down. It's been sufficient to call Manning across. Clear to see now why Ziad Al-Juhani went to ground, because he gets a couple of connections to the back of the head. One of them a lunging goalkeeper, one of them a flying centre-back. Decision has been made. What is the outcome? Oh, hang on a moment. Now we have a decision, and we have got a penalty kick, and there's going to be more as well. The card is coming out. Certainly looked like it anyway. That's a secondary concern for Al-Duhail at the moment. After video review, a penalty kick to the champions from last season. There's going to be a lot of kerfuffle around all of this. They have a player there who scored 36 in 40 in all competitions. The Duhail players frustrated, irritated. Captain Ahli in conversation with Manning, and it's a yellow card to Salah Zakaria. So he was judged to be the offender. Goodness me. Well, they thought after Jean-Charles Castelletto had cleared the ball off the line that they had performed a great, almost miraculous escape from that attack, but play was pulled back. It was clear that number 30 Ziad Al-Juhani had been impeded. Now can Salah Zakaria, who was one of two players along with Tuta who went flying towards the young Jeddah-born player, can he make amends against a player who's been very adept at putting the ball in the net? Right at the end of this first period of extra time. Ivan Toney, brilliant save! And then put wide! What a game he's having! Salah Zakaria. And Ivan Toney still cannot find the back of the net with anything like the effectiveness that he's shown domestically in this season's AFC Champions League Elite. Great goalkeeping, he reads it so well. Agile, athletic and bold from Salah Zakaria. And still it will not go in. How's that for an eventful first 15 minutes of extra time? Ivan Toney's penalty kick saved by Salah Zakaria after a lengthy video review process. The goalkeeper who committed the foul says no harm done, folks. I'll keep us out of trouble once again. Instructions being administered by Matthias Jaisler, and likewise by Jamal Belmadi. Well, it's another of those moments that we put into the what if category, and perhaps for Ahli it's more the if only category. From absolute conviction that they were going to go on and win this, the fans are now shrunk back into their seats, very quiet. Maybe some of them starting to think, is it going to be one of those days? There is a lot still to come. A busy 15 minutes remains. Freshness of legs is needed. Valentin Atangana, born in Yaoundé in Cameroon, will come on, and Ziad Al-Jahani, who was fouled for that penalty kick, departs. One more period of extra time remains. Still, the crucial goal cannot be found, even from a penalty kick, even from Ivan Toney, who's been in such fantastic goal-scoring form for his club this season. Bursting forwards is Roger Ibanez, the Brazilian centre-back. He can't go all the way, can he? Goodness. Would have been an absolutely barking mad moment. Well, he's had 3 chances actually. That was probably the least likely of all of them from the moment that he made contact with the ball. First was that ferocious shot that looked as though it was going to be testing to Salah Zakaria, and the other was the header that drifted wide. Also wonder now, if this does go into penalties, how does Salah Zakaria feel ahead of the shootout? Because he's just produced an excellent save from a player you would really have expected to score. And he has been the most occupied of the goalkeepers. Here's a little space for Mateus Gonçalves. Nobody picked him up in the centre of midfield. They picked him up there, albeit illegally, with Nilsson Junior with a foul. It is a very tense start to the tensest phase of the AFC Champions League Elite. the finals, Jeddah 2026. Riyad Mahrez goes shorter. It's back with Galeno. He was being encouraged to shoot, instead floated it, and it all rather became nothing. That's a great idea. Quick distribution from Salah Zakaria. Bulbina is going to have to do this all on his own. He'll like that challenge. And he nearly played in Krzysztof Piątek. It is going to be the phase of the match where there's tiredness, and as a result, space opens up. Mahrez to Galeno, to Jorge Ibanez, who's suddenly playing in a very advanced position. Easy for the goalkeeper. We could have a little chaos in the final stages. We've certainly got a lot of tension. Substitute Valentin Atangana, under 21 international for France, scored against Luxembourg last month, the winner of the UEFA Under-17 Championship. He's made his first contribution in being fouled. And Edmilson Junior. Once again, the combination of Galeno and Riyad Mahrez. But it will clearly this time be Mahrez, and it will be cleared. And again, Bulbina, they want a free kick for that, the Ahli players and fans, but they will get nothing. In a match where they've got nothing, Mendy has had a rather quiet extra time. Well, if you had to make a call on it now, what would you say? What do you think, whoever you're supporting and wherever you're watching this match from? We will find out pretty soon. Bulbina. He's done very well. He could exploit some tiredness. Bulbina, still Bulbina! Where there was a moment of hope, suddenly nothing for Al Duhail. But one must admire the boldness, the industry of the young man who joined the club from his first senior club, Paradou in Algiers, at the start of the season. He's been a great signing for Al Duhail. Edmilson Junior might just get there, not quite, that was close. Both players evidently really fatigued. Wild but important lunge from Zakaria Al-Hossawi. We're at the stage now where the head coaches will be solidifying those penalty takers. Their mood has deteriorated sharply as extra time has gone on. They were full of noise at the start. Now they are full of worry. Just to remind you, you are watching the reigning champions in this competition. Ahli Saudi, in their home city of Jeddah, in their home stadium. The city that will be hosting the remainder of this competition. It is extraordinary to contemplate that they could miss out. They could have to be spectators. Galeno with a heavy connection on Yusuf Sabali. He felt that he just went for the ball, but the follow-through was what caught Sabay, and it did catch him quite heavily on the foot. Another change is coming. So far, no change to the scoreboard. Jamal Belmadi has shown great faith with his starting lineup, only making one alteration. Benjamin Bourigeaud. Just over 5 minutes left in extra time. Referee applying a little discipline to a messy penalty area. Bourigeaud hasn't yet managed to find that top quality delivery from a free kick or corner kick. Is this going to be the time? Well, there's the answer. Sabay, that was a better ball. Might be hit. And then just thumped into the air by Edmilson Junior. He's worked very hard, the young man who's coming off, Zakaria Al-Hossawi. And on comes Firas Al-Buraikan, who one would imagine to be a very likely contender to take a penalty kick. Will the spectators be spared the anxiety of penalties? That might have been a rather accurate slip of the tongue, because there will be a lot of extremely worried spectators if this goes all the way to a penalty competition, especially after what Salah Zakaria did to deprive him. Again, they search for that moment of brilliance from a good position. Salah Zakaria readies himself for a threat. A lot of chitter-chatter in the wall. Very purposeful instructions from him. The goalkeeper who stepped up to the challenge this season, having looked as though he'd lost his place. He's played extremely well today, including saving a penalty kick from the gentleman who's been unstoppable domestically. They have got some high-quality set-piece takers, Al-Ahli Saudi. This is a good position for Galeno, or for someone. It's not going to be Galeno, and it's going to be put in! Totally took them by surprise. They were waiting for Galeno. It was Riyad Mahrez, and it's 1-0 to the champions. He just seemed to arrive out of nowhere, Riyad Mahrez. And finally, the quality delivery. I mean, that is fantastic. Goes right over the top of the wall, perfectly, loops its way around, curls into the net. And Salah Zakaria, who's played so well, had to spectate. We said at the very start of this match that a real difference between the two teams was the number of game winners that Ahli Saudi had. And probably the greatest game winner of all has delivered. It's not done yet though. Now we're going to see what Al Duhail have in the last few minutes. It was very nearly won by a young Algerian of name Adil Bulbina right before full time, but it looks as though the veteran member of the North African nation squad is going to have the last word. Oh, nicely done by Mateus Gonçalves, as it suddenly got a lot louder in the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. What an absolutely agonising moment it's going to be for Al Duhail. I think some of the fans thought it was done. There were a few spectators who've begun their celebrations. Foul on Faraz Al-Buraikan. Well, it would be fitting, such has been the rather dramatic nature of this match, particularly as we've got closer to full time, for there to be one opportunity for Al Duhail to hit back. But will they get it? We've got a bit of a wait to restart. We've got 3 additional minutes. Waiting in the wings, Johor Darul Tazim. And it looks as though they will be meeting the reigning champions, courtesy of a wonderful free kick from Riyad Mahrez. It's going to be an Ahli Saudi ball. They just want to use up the time to stagnate the match. Tony will do exactly that, just try to hold on to it. That's going to be an Al Duhail ball with 2 minutes left. You can see, can't you, how utterly winded the Al Duhail players are after a very determined effort. Bulbina did everything he could, but the ball just ricochets through to Edouard Mendy. He'll take his time and show his experience, as Al Ahli Saudi look to have navigated their way through an extremely difficult match. A run of 3 draws in a row between these two teams in the AFC Champions League Elite and its predecessor competition is set to come to an end with a win for the Jeddah-based team who lifted the trophy last season. And they will just use up some time to make consolidating change. Mahrez will depart and defensive midfielder Eid Al-Muwallad will come on. And we've also got Mubarak Shannon Hamza, who has come on to replace Sultan Al-Burak, as we remind ourselves of what is likely to be the match-winning moment. Courtesy of the one and only Riyad Mahrez. Into what is likely to be a matter of seconds now. And for Duhail, a really agonising and upsetting loss, despite a great effort. And they might have thought, when Salah Zakaria saved that penalty kick, that it was all going to go their way. They turn it around. Instead, intemperance and a yellow card for their substitute, Eid Al-Muwallad. And it looks like that may well be it. It's cleared. It's with Boubakary Soumaré. They need to do something with this very quickly. Duhail facing elimination after a very tough, very tight match. Spectators glued to the referee. Salah Zakaria has to make a quick decision. Hasn't managed to do anything with it. The ball's loose. Tony, who missed the penalty kick earlier. Ivan Toney almost put it right into the path of Matias Gonçalves, and that would have ended it. But it is over now. And Al Ahli Saudi, courtesy of Riyad Mahrez, have survived a very tough match. And they advance to the quarter-final stage of this competition in their home city. Despite his best efforts, when it came to Mahrez's free kick, all Salah Zakaria could do was stand and watch and feel the devastation that that gentleman has inflicted on so many teams over so many years. A world-class free kick to win a very difficult match. As was said earlier, not all victories when you lift a trophy are classics. They just have to be wins. You just have to get through, and that's what the champions have done. At full time, after extra time, Al Ahli Saudi 1, Al Duhail 0. The champions advance to the quarter-final.